Scheduled programming will not be seen tonight, in order that we may bring you the following WTAE-TV special presentation.
Get into the snow! Yeah.
It's the kickoff of Winterfest at Seven Springs. Tonight's show is being brought to you by Jeep. Jeep, there's only one. Check out your local Jeep dealer today. And by Arby's. Arby's is proud to be a sponsor of Winterfest. By Value City, you just can't do any better. By Bell Atlantic Mobile. Superior network, superior value. It's for you. By Sunkissed, get your full daily allowance of vitamin C with an orange. Can't resist a Sunkissed orange. And by Century 3 Home Equity, a mortgage company with your best interest in mind. We now join Michelle Wright and Jerry Martz, Slopeside at Seven Springs.
Welcome to Winterfest at Seven Springs. The weather here is great for skiers and snowboarders, and the resort is kicking off its very first Winterfest of the new millennium. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Wright.
And I'm Jerry Martz. Thanks for joining us. You know, Michelle, it's my third Winterfest. I get more excited each and every year. I think one of the things I'm most looking forward to this year is the snow tubing. You know,
the tubing's
sliding
fun.
down the hill, brings you back up the hill. Looking forward to having a great time outdoors. How about yourself?
One of the things I love is something we did earlier today, those Celebrity Olympics with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is hilarious to watch those big Pittsburgh Steelers act so goofy in the snow every year. I love that.
Looking forward to all that activity. And also, I'm headed out to do some work to learn more about the world-class snowmaking here at Seven Springs on top of the mountain. So I'll catch up with you a little later.
All right. We'll check in with you in a few minutes then, Jerry. Thanks.
All right.
And you can see that lots of folks are here for Winterfest 2000. We hope you stay with us. There is fun for the whole family. We talked about the Celebrity Olympics. There's also the Great Media Ski Race, and there is lots of fun for all the kids. There's a big arts and crafts festival here this weekend too. So sit back and relax and stay with us for this next half hour. Lots going on for Winterfest 2000 at Seven Springs. Coming up next, many of you know that Seven Springs has a long and interesting heritage dating back to the 1930s. I sat down with Jim McClure earlier today. He has seen it all here. Jim is celebrating 40 years with Seven Springs this year. He even helped build the hotel down behind me. A really neat story. Stay with us.
Wendy? I'm Consumer Watch reporter Wendy Bell. If you're a winter fun fanatic and you're interested in some condominium-style accommodations up at Seven Springs, it's easy. All you need to do is log on to their website, www.sevensprings.com, to get all the information you need. Many condos get booked years in advance through the holiday seasons, but many are available for rental as well. Privacy, slopeside access and view, and your very own kitchen are pretty hard to beat. They're also pretty popular for the non-skier. Stay tuned for more Winterfest consumer updates throughout the show.
Get into the snow!
Turn on the radio. The weatherman's telling me there ain't gonna be no snow. I give a little laugh and I shake my head no.
No, no, no.
It's where I'm going.
Get going.
There's gonna be a whole lot of snow.
Right now I'm on the top of the Tyrrell Slope, and there's a good time being had by all down at the Foggy Goggle. Lots of folks enjoying themselves over at the pool. There are even some night skiers out here still enjoying the slopes tonight. I'm Michelle Wright. Thanks for joining us. Right now we're going to check in with Winterfest co-host Jerry Martz. He is in the control room with Bill Cavalcant talking about snowmaking. And Jerry, when we talk about snowmaking, I know it's real high-tech. If you could break it down and try to make it simple for us and tell us how in the world a resort here in western Pennsylvania could make snow so many months out of the year.
Thanks, Michelle. You look cold out there, nice and toasty up here. We're at the headquarters of the world-class patented snowmaking system at Seven Springs. Joining us this evening, the mountain crew manager, Bill Cavalcant. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Jerry.
Tell us more about the nuts and bolts that goes on here with the snowmaking.
Basically what we do is we have two major ponds that we use to draw out for our snowmaking. One we call Lake Tahoe, and the other one's Lake Lars. Lake Tahoe can hold 150 million gallons of water. We can pump 100 million out of it. So basically all the water that's stored or maintained on the mountain never really leaves the mountain. It just stays here. We either change its state to a frozen state and store it as ice or snow particles, or we're recovering it from our parking lots at the ice that we salt the roads down that leach out and melt into our parking lot drains. They go into sediment pond. All that is collected and gathered because in our business, water is gold.
The snow guns at Seven Springs are designed to keep you skiing, tubing, and snowboarding from December through March. Good old-fashioned common sense and a little bit of high-tech engineering make it all possible.
And what the air does is the water pattern sprayed, the air shears it causes it to shatter into smaller water droplets.
Air, water, and pressure form the golden triangle in the production of man-made snow here. I asked Bill Cavalcant a very important question. What's the best looking forecast that we can deliver to you and for snowmaking potential?
Anything mid-teens. Mid-teens for us is when we really optimize the amount of snow we can put down and the amount of time.
With that, we took to the slopes. One other thing we talked about before was this product called SnowMax.
Right.
Tell us more about that.
SnowMax is called, it's a scientific name, is Pseudomonas syringae. It's actually a bacteria that's grown on garden vegetables. And they noticed that whenever they inject it in a water mixture into a water molecule, that it gives it a more constant temperature to freeze at. It's an all-natural product found on your regular old garden vegetables.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope you're not getting any of this snow down here, Michelle. Bill, you want to fire this back up again?
Yep, we can do that.
All right.
All right, thanks, Jerry. I have come in from out of the cold. I'm down the slope at Helen's Restaurant by the fire, getting warm. And joining me is Vice President and General Manager of Seven Springs, Scott Bender. Thanks so much for letting us come up and have fun this weekend.
You're welcome, Michelle. It's great to have everyone here.
And after watching Jerry's report, we are so fortunate to be able to make snow here at Seven Springs.
Michelle, it really is phenomenal considering that this season we opened with 3 days of round-the-clock snowmaking. No natural snow, and we had about 3 feet of base out there on 500 acres of skiable terrain to get open.
That is incredible. So when Joe DiNardo back in Pittsburgh says, no snow in the forecast, we can still come up here and enjoy Seven Springs.
Exactly. As long as it's colder than 28 degrees outside, we'll be blowing the snow.
All right. So what's a typical weekend here like?
Peak season, weekend, as many as 22,000, 25,000 skiers on a weekend. One of our busiest Saturdays that we've ever had when conditions are ideal. There's a little bit of snow in Pittsburgh. It's cold outside. People are winter sports. We had about 16,000 people here at Seven Springs on a Saturday. So if you can imagine taking the crowd at the Civic Arena and bringing it up to the slopes of Seven Springs, that was our busiest day.
But there's so much land here that it doesn't feel real crowded. There's a lot of room.
No, you're right. I mean, with the chairlift capacity that we have and the number of slopes and skiable terrain here, there's still plenty of room for everyone.
It's the place to be.
It is.
Now,
without a
every
doubt.
year, every season, I really look forward to finding out all the new things that you have. You're always doing something new.
Right.
Snowboarding is really big this year
Right.
again.
Snowboarding is growing nationwide, industry-wide. Snowboarding accounts for about 30% of our visits now at Seven Springs. We've purchased about 150 new snowboards, bringing our entire fleet to about 500 now. Ski boards are something new in the industry. I brought a pair here with us. It's kind of a cross between skiing and snowboarding, if you will. These are little ones for the kids, but you don't use poles with them, and there's an ease of turning with them and learning how to ski. A lot of skiers are using these to teach skiing with.
And I've heard they're kind of like rollerblading.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that right?
Rollerblading on the snow. Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
if I'm brave enough. There are some new shape skis, though, for people like me that are easier to maneuver. You have a lot of those?
Yeah. We've added about 1,500 pairs of new shape skis to our rental fleet this year. And they really came on popular in the industry about 4 or 5 years ago, and for the same reason that you said, the ease of turning and learning how to ski.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Even though I've been skiing for years, I still like the ease of
Right.
that. You know, for the first time last year, I tried something fun, and that is your tubing park.
Right.
Oh, what a blast that is. How's that
Well,
going?
we expanded there as well. That's been an instant success. We started that 3 years ago. Last year we did over 50,000 tuber visits at the park. We've added another handlebar tow that pulls you up the hill. You don't have to walk to the top of the hill, as you know. We added 2 more chutes to come down to the bottom and refurbish the building, and expanded the food service. So it's constantly growing. It is a popular event here.
And those of us in Western Pennsylvania come here and enjoy it, but sometimes we don't realize that throughout the industry, Seven Springs is known as a trendsetter.
That's very true. You know, probably a couple of years ago, I had the ski school director in from Aspen, and we had coffee in the dining room because he was from the Johnstown area. And we were talking, and he said, this place is just phenomenal. He said, you know, we out in the west might have the 11,000 feet elevations, but he says nobody has the main law complex that you all have. And that's one of the things that people keep talking about. You know, Pittsburgh has a large skiing crowd, and they're traveling out west all the time into New England. And the word Seven Springs gets around very quickly, the massive lodge that we have, the number of slopes and trails that we have, and the number of skiers that we do each season. You know, we average about 400,000 skier visits a season. There are many ski areas out west and in New England that don't get as many skier visits as a little old Seven Springs in Pennsylvania does.
So we're lucky that we have it so close.
We are.
You have races going on all the time for people of all different ages, and I think that's important that any skier can come and enjoy this racing capacity that you have.
That's a good point. There are separate racing programs. Many of the clubs have formed for the juniors, 5 to 7-year-olds, to the 60-plus, the seniors. As well as the individual programs, we have a NASTAR race course here that it's kind of a golf handicap system that they use with the NASTAR racing. Take into consideration your age and ability and so forth and rank you at a national level. And that's open daily, and anyone's welcome to try that if they're interested in getting into racing.
Now, I've tried that. I've done the racing, but I don't think my score would mean anything at all nationally.
You might be
I think
surprised.
I've ranked way down. But it is fun. It's fun to try and see how fast you can go.
Exactly. I mean, you know, in golf, when you have your handicap, you can see how you're doing against a guy with a 3 handicap if you're a 15. You can do much the same on that NASTAR race course. Compare yourself to the pace setter.
It is fun.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. You wouldn't be as bad as you think.
All right, tell us about this ticket giveaway happening in March. How do we find out more about that?
Well, about 3 years ago, we started our website at Seven Springs. Live snow cam on our website showing the front face ski slopes.
So we just have to log on to the website and we can see what's going on outside. Oh, that's neat.
And the giveaway is for 5 ski tickets and 5 snow tubing tickets. I'll recommend that everybody visits the website to get the information. How's that?
What's your address?
www.the7springs.com.
All right, the7springs.com.
Right.
And we can find all about the ticket giveaways on your website.
Yep.
So this is the place to be this weekend. Thanks, Scott.
You're very welcome, Michelle.
And stay with us. It is the first day of Winterfest at Seven Springs.
Get into the snow.
And tomorrow should be great for skiing and snowboarding. And you can see that tubing has really taken off here at Seven Springs. So stay with us. Many of you will recognize him as Ned from ABC's General Hospital. Well, he is Wally Kurth of Kurth and Taylor, a very popular band here in the Pittsburgh area. You might recall they were at Metropole last year. And if you are a fan, you can get one of the great seats left for the 3 p.m. Sunday Kurth and Taylor concert here at Winterfest. All proceeds benefit WTAE-TV's Project Bundle Up. And let me tell you, these guys are good. And we've mentioned him before. But when we come back, the story of Jim McClure, a 40-year veteran here at Seven Springs. We'll look back at these pictures and hear some of his great memories. We'll be back.
I'm Consumer Watch reporter Wendy Bell. Did you know that there are more than 870 condominium homeowners up at the resort, and many of their properties are available to you for rent or for purchase? The mountaintop family environment has become very popular for weekend or even week-long stays at Seven Springs. For more information on the condominium availability, log on to www.sevensprings.com.
It's snowing outside.
Get into the snow.
Telling me there ain't gonna be no snow. I give a little laugh and I shake my head no.
No, no, no.
It's where I'm going.
Get going.
There's gonna be a whole lot of snow.
Welcome back to Winterfest 2000. By now you know that we're at Seven Springs kicking off Winterfest, and the night skiing is still going on right now. We'd like to tell you too that there's more than 3 feet of base here. With all the cold weather and the snow we've had this past week, skiing, tubing, and snowboarding are fantastic tonight and should provide great opportunities for fun all through this Winterfest week. Well, right now I'm happy to be joined by a guy at Seven Springs who really has just done it all. Jim McClure, you are now president of Seven Springs. Thanks for letting us come up and have so much fun. We're having a great time. But I should say, you haven't always been president. You've been here 40 years and your beginning was very different. Let's talk about that.
That's right, Michelle. Back in 1960, I was a student at St. Vincent's College, and Herman used to go down and interview students for winter employment, and actually I was interviewed 3 years in a row and not hired, but in 1960 I was lucky he didn't interview. He just called down to the college and asked them to send up one student, and that still wasn't me. It was mine that needed a ride. And I wrote him up, and Herman Dupre, one of the founders and the past president, asked me if I wanted to work that weekend, and I've been here ever since. So that's how my 40 years started here at Seven Springs.
And I'm sure you're thrilled that it started and you've come so far. This is great. You know, one of the biggest treats I've had today is looking at some of these old photographs of how things used to be here, and my goodness, how Seven Springs has changed.
Yeah, it certainly has. When I first came here in 1960, one chairlift, 2 Palmer lifts, a few rope tows, and in fact, at that time, I was one of 15 employees, and a ski ticket was $1.50 a day, but you had to pay a quarter every time you wanted to ride up the chairlift.
The one chairlift.
The one chairlift. So things have really changed, I mean, over the years.
And when did you realize that you needed to expand a little bit? It just kept getting more and more popular?
We were forced to expand, fortunately, more skiers, and we decided that we needed a hotel. So in 1964, we embarked on building the first part of the main lodge here that had 30 guest rooms. And in 1967, we added 77 additional rooms. And then in 1974, we completed the 10-story high-rise with 330 additional rooms.
And you even have condos now.
And we have over 900 condos, so with the condominiums plus the hotel accommodations when we're fully occupied, there's over 5,000 overnight guests here.
Yeah, it's grown a lot.
Yes, it has.
Thinking back, though, looking at these pictures, these logs or something, you actually helped cut these logs for the very first lodge. Tell me how that was.
That's true. Many of those logs that were placed in the lodge were on the slope or on the mountain in the morning. We cut a new ski slope, which is now the avalanche slope, and had a portable sawmill at the bottom of the slope, so we pulled the logs down with a tractor and cut flat sides on them, and the local people debarked them with axes, and they were placed in the building sometimes the same day.
That looks like a pretty tough job.
It was difficult at the time. It has fond memories, but it wasn't easy when we were doing it.
Yeah. Did you ever imagine, as you were cutting these logs, that Seven Springs would turn into what it is today?
Not really, no. But like I say, we had the customers already, so we just had to grow to accommodate them. But the difficult thing was developing a year-round business, and with our conferences to complement the ski season, we now do have a very good year-round business.
And in order to do that, you need a large staff, and I'm sure the staff has grown immensely since you started.
As I mentioned, when I first started, I was one of 15 employees, and today we have a full-time staff of around 450, but during the ski season, right now, we're up to around 1,500 employees. What's fortunate, though, is that we have a good nucleus. We have over 20 management people that have cumulatively over 400 years of service, and that's really unusual in this industry.
Must be like a family.
It is. We very much operate like a family. We've been together so long.
Okay, Jim, thanks so much for joining us. Let's go now to Jerry Martz up on the hill. And Jerry, let me ask you, would we be putting you on the spot if we ask you for a Winterfest week-long forecast?
Not at all, Michelle. We're always on top of the extended forecast here. The outlook for Winterfest 2000 shaping up like this. The temperature outlook over the next 5 days are forecast to be below normal, and the precipitation outlook for the week is expected to be below normal too. Winterfest is underway for the next week. Right now, here are more of the week's events happening throughout Winterfest. Stay with us.
Get into the snow.
Cool, Daddy-O.
Get into the snow.
At Seven Springs.
Get into the snow.
Yeah.
Highlighted many of the condominium accommodations up at Seven Springs all throughout our show. The communities that make up the complexes are the Villages on top of the mountain, Swiss Mountain Village on top of the neighboring mountain, and Mountain Villas alongside the golf course. Not all have waiting lists for rental or purchase and range from 1 to 5 bedrooms. The spectacular views, slopeside access, your own kitchen, and the warm family atmosphere make for a nice blend for family fun for skiers and non-skiers alike. For Winterfest at Seven Springs, I'm Consumer Watch reporter Wendy Bell.
Get into the snow.
Cool, Daddy-O.
Get into the snow.
At Seven Springs.
Get into the snow.
It's the kickoff of Winterfest at Seven Springs. Tonight's show is being brought to you by Jeep. Jeep, there's only one. Check out your local Jeep dealer today. And by Arby's. Arby's is proud to be a sponsor of Winterfest. By Value City, You just can't do any better. By Bell Atlantic Mobile. Superior network, superior value. It's for you. By Sunkissed. Get your full daily allowance of vitamin C with an orange. Can't resist a Sunkissed orange. And by Century 3 Equity, which company with your best interest in mind.
Thank you for joining us. And Jerry, I guess you're going to be here bright and early in the morning.
7 o'clock in the morning, Slopeside at Seven Springs for the latest Donardo Weather Watch forecast and, of course, all the goings on here at Winterfest 2000.
And a special thank you to Seven Springs for all of their help here with the show we just put on. And if you want to get into the snow, this is the place to be. Really something for everyone here in Champion, Pennsylvania. I'm Michelle Wright.
And I'm Jerry Martz. Thanks for joining us.
And to close tonight's show, kicking off the first day of Winterfest at Seven Springs, we see the Torchlight Parade coming down across Stowe Slope, capping off the first day's festivities. Good night from Seven Springs.